Hey loves, it's Britt, and in this video, I'm going to talk about what it means to have your ascendant conjunct to someone's north node in Synastry or vice versa. So, this one is an incredibly karmic connection. It has a certain amount of magnetic pull and force that can draw two people together, even when there isn't really other compatibility there. So, that's something to watch out for. So the North Node in our natal chart shows where our soul is going. It is a point of destiny or fate, and it's always directly opposite the South Node, okay, which is a point of comfort and something that we're really natural at, an energy that's just a really ingrained part of us. It can show some of our gifts too, but if we solely stay in the South Node, we feel stagnant. So the ascendant and descendant axis are also directly opposite each other. So when someone's north node is conjunct to your ascendant, that means their south node is conjunct to your descendant, which is the point in your natal chart that represents relationships of all kinds, and especially marriage or romantic relationships as well. So you could say from this contact that this could be a past life relationship. This could be someone that you have had a romantic relationship in a past life with. And they're definitely, with north and south node conjunctions and contacts, there's this karmic or fated energy about the connection. So for the ascendant person, the north node person can actually really be motivating to the ascendant person. Like the ascendant person can look at the north node person and be like, wow, I want to be like them. And actually that is kind of going both ways. So the ascendant person can definitely feel like the north node person is someone that they look up to and that is helping them. And at the same time, when the ascendant person just naturally acts like their ascendant, which is going to be their first response to do in most situations, right? We naturally just embody our ascendant. When the ascendant person is just being themselves, the first house, the ascendant, right? The north node person is experiencing like this soul fated connection thing where they are being pulled towards their destiny. So depending on where the north node person is at with their north node, they could also find the ascendant person incredibly frustrating and annoying and triggering. Okay, that's something that I feel like is often missed about the north node and conjunctions to the north node in synastry is how triggering it can be. So it's a soul tie, right? It's a karmic connection, it's a soulmate connection, whatever you want to call it, whatever the nature of the karma is here. But the north node person may not be ready for this connection because of the way that the ascendant person is pulling them towards their north node. It can feel very uncomfortable. It can feel very annoying. Like there can be something about the ascendant person to the north node person that's just really off-putting, or even like similarly to my video that I did about Mars conjunct the north node in synastry. It can almost be a little bit like that, right? Because the first house naturally ruled by Mars. The ascendant person can piss off the north node person by just seeming aggressive, or even like in a sense it's almost like a jealousy, like that the north node person like knows that on some level they need to be more like the ascendant person, but also resents that, if that makes sense. So it's a really interesting one, where like it can give a lot of growth and be very deeply healing and energizing. It's a very energetic contact. But it can also be very frustrating, and it can also be like a short-term thing where, you know, once the lesson is learned, the soul growth has happened, the two people are out and they're like, I'm done with that. Like, I don't want to deal with that, you know? And like I said at the beginning, like, if this contact shows up in a synastry that does not have other compatibility, really, you know, like there's just too many tense squares, not enough like good Venus, Jupiter, like, you know, stuff that's gonna lighten the mood, then this can be just a more short-term connection that, you learn a lot, but you don't necessarily want to be in it long-term. So it's not really as comfortable as what I talked about yesterday with the South Node conjunct the Ascendant, which feels a lot more comfortable, but can be a lot more stagnating or stagnant. This one is more uncomfortable, but more growth. So the Ascendant person, it also probably because of the 7th house conjunction to the North Node person's South Node, right? Because the North and South nodes are always directly opposite. The Ascendant person can have a lot of really romantic feelings towards the North Node person. And, on some level, when the North Node person is, really just embodying their natural self as shown by their South Node, the Ascendant person can really feel like this is hot, or this is attractive, or this is like the kind of partner that they know they're destined for. So it really can feel like an aspect of destiny. But the 7th house also represents people that we have conflict with. It also can show relationships of all kinds. So our lovers and our marriage partners, right? Lovers could also be shown by 5th. 7th could be more like marriage related. But it can also show our enemies. So that's a little bit why this conjunction can feel like a Mars conjunct the North Node, where we're just kind of pissed at each other sometimes. But it could go either way. It really could. It could be like the most rewarding, fulfilling relationship of your life, where there's so much growth for both people. Or it could just be like you're butting heads and this is like the most triggering, annoying person you've ever met. So it really depends with this one, but it's definitely powerful. And it is one of those aspects that creates a powerful magnetism that, like, you see this person and it's not really necessarily sexual even. It's more just like your heart is racing, like you just know there's something there with this person. You don't know what it is, but there's something there to explore. And I think that, that feeling comes from the fact that this is a soulmate connection. This is something significant. It is something fated. It's something potentially karmic or past life-ish. And, that's why the feelings are so strong. But my only advice with this aspect is like, just because the feelings are strong doesn't mean this is a forever aspect. It could be. There's nothing, like, if the rest of the synastry is good and, like, it's, you got other contacts in there that you really get along well, then this one could bring so much growth and fulfillment, like I said. But don't be attached to it being forever, because sometimes North Node conjunctions and synastry can just be a quick lesson. And, once the lesson is learned and you've acquired the wisdom from it, you can look back and be grateful for this connection, but also be grateful that it ended. So it sort of depends on the rest of the synastry. But it's definitely a powerful one. It feels soulmate. It feels karmic, fated. It's definitely powerful. It is physically attractive, but I think that the physical attraction comes more from the fact that there is like a soul attraction with this one. So yeah, I'd love to know your experience of it. Oh yeah, one more thing. So the North Node person could really be helped by the Ascendant person as far as like their mission and destiny and whatever that is. So you want to look at the sign of the North Node and the sign of the Ascendant. And that is going to be a major theme of this relationship. And that is the energy that they could become either better or worse in. So it really depends. So yeah, let me know your experience with this connection. Was it like this? Was it not like this? And thanks for watching, you guys. Talk soon.